All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. We are back. We are blessed with one full panel. Welcome, Julia Kamman, Hans Dietrich. We have Esra in the mountains somewhere there. And, of course, David Stig to, I guess, the right of me, depending on how it's watching. Yeah, I guess it's right. And how is everyone today?
I'm good. Can you hear all?
Yes, we can. Oh, there's Sarah. Welcome back.
Thanks. Just had to dip out real quick. We were having a really wonderful conversation in the background, and I just needed to take a quick break before we started going. Much love, fam.
Conversation with
this
Hans
is
earlier?
Mount St. Helens behind me, by the way.
Mount St. Helens.
Just
Hi,
north
Hans.
of me.
You were just talking about that. Well, both of you, Esra and Hans, before the show started, you were talking about breathing, and I get the same thing right here sometimes, especially with the cold weather, where it's such a scent, and it's not just air, it's metallic. What was up with that comment you said?
Oh, I was talking about deja vu, and so I get what I call chicken skin, where you get goosebumps all up and down your arms and legs, and then I get like a body rush, like a full flush, and I start smelling what I can only describe it as ozone or something that's akin
ozone.
to a light form of fingernail polish remover, and I taste like this metallic taste in my mouth. And this is an indicator of, oh my God, I've been here before, or something that I know is going to happen is about to happen. So that was
you
our
said
comment.
you were going to get some psychic input.
That's fascinating.
By the way, you say ozone. I get a draft. I'm lucky. I live in a warm area, but it's actually quite cold right now.
Ozone.
I get a draft. That cold air. I smell. When you said that, that's exactly what I feel I'm getting. And then you mentioned enlightenment out of it. That I don't necessarily get, but
Oh, it was just dream states, and sometimes I have these very prolific dreams that I remember. I'll wake up and remember every aspect of it, but not often does it pass. But we were talking about dream state where I don't know if anybody in the audience has this, but a continuation dream where you have the same dream over and over and over and over and over for periods of time. It's obviously different, but it's the same locale, and you just keep coming back to this in your dream. Oftentimes when my cat sleeps next to me, she will end up in my dreams, and I've always found that interesting. Sorry, Julie, what?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did.
Sorry, that was me. I apologize. My internet might be a little bit. I apologize because I am in a hotel currently. But what I was trying to just touch on is the lucid dreaming aspect of it. So what you're getting at is like most people don't fully understand or haven't necessarily had the experience of lucid dreaming, which is where you're actually able to act in your dream. You're aware you're dreaming, so you can change the outcome of it. So as a 4-year-old, I used to have a reoccurring, very disturbing dream about actually getting into a snowball fight with my brothers and choking on one of these snowballs and actually literally throwing up my intestines. So not to get too descriptive on that, but
did it happen every time? Did you choke up your intestines?
The outcome. So that's what. So I had it over a period of a year, again at a super young age, to try to understand this. And I realized I had to give it a happy ending, which interestingly, when we start talking about therapy, talk therapy versus storytelling therapy, when you change the outcome of the situation from your past as you're speaking it outward, you actually can then in turn heal and then rewire your brain activity that way. There's obviously multiple ways to do that.
Can I just make a quick correlation with what you said? It's kind of getting off, but a friend of mine said, because I relived the same thing awake in the shower. For years I did this. I have a lot of regrets in my life. And I have the dream thing. We can talk about that in a second, but I was every morning you get in the shower and you think the same thoughts. I finally had to write the word no on the tile in the shower to stop me from thinking the same thoughts every single day. Regrets, basically, right? Going through all these same thoughts. And so I had to say no. I had to write it in the tile. That's where I did it.
And how many of you currently wake up sometimes and look at yourself in the mirror and say something really disgusting about yourself?
I feel like we battle that every day. Like we think negative thoughts every day. Like that's the battle.
You are developed. Sorry, I know you're saying by the way, so I want to shut up in a second. You are addicted to these chemicals you do in your brain every day. You conjure and craft these chemicals, these synaptic things going off in your brain, and so you're addicted to them. So you go to them every morning or whenever, and you got to say no.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm definitely not about toxic positivity. I think that ultimately there's a balance. So whether you push yourself one way or another, it's going to push you back to try to reach that. So, but that was something I did to myself all the time. I didn't even realize I would call myself stupid for doing like the stupidest thing. And part of it was hypercritical people in my life, but like for tripping over something, for being a little clumsy. Yeah. And
I like to say,
I'm very tall. I'm a 6'1" person. So I'm a little clumsy sometimes. And
do you ever
I kicked myself for something I said in high school.
It's so interesting how every single, like throughout our life, like every single compliment we've ever received or every single insult or something negative side, like we remember it forever. And it always baffles me that we know this and yet people hand out compliments like it's like their last dollar. Like that will stay with somebody. So I find it so important to remind each other with like positive thoughts or like their good qualities.
Reinforcement.
Yeah. But yeah, I think she's right about like toxic positivity because
and
it
realizing
can become
like a lot of times when that lower frequency comment comes through, it's from their own ordeal, right? They're projecting it at you. Right. We talk about this a lot. It's a black mirror effect. It's a reflection effect. And they're triggered. They're triggered by something about you. You hold a certain presence that they are not quite understanding in it. And they're trying to rectify it, really.
Well, you were talking about dreams, and I have to admit, I don't remember any of my dreams these days. I know I've had a few recently, but I don't remember them. I'm almost 60. I think that I did heal myself with all that every morning going through the same things every day. And it was just about not just seeing the word no on the tile in the shower, because that was almost 10 years ago, but also being able to say, stop, you know.
But like you mentioning the toxic positivity, it's like there's so much when you uncover the darker aspects of things and the thoughts and the things about you that you don't want to show the world, like all the stuff you run from and like aren't the first to tell everyone about, those tendencies, those traits. And so it seems like the most freedom, like you begin to really thrive when you acknowledge all your darker aspects. What are you addicted to? What do you distract yourself with? Why are you thinking these negative thoughts about what are you rejecting about yourself? Why are you rejecting yourself so much? And I think that's like what comes into play with dating. And like we live in a world right now that it's so like it's such different times of like relationships and dating and the culture but yeah, I think that like uncovering, like accessing the subconscious and our darker aspects is like where all the gold is.
It's that good chaos factor, right? Like the whole idea that you can't have light without the dark. So when you embrace the dark, you find your light. But and I am going to pull up something here for a second. But what you're getting at here with the actual, there's something a little off by the way on this depiction with beta and alpha, because they actually correlate. Alpha can actually be very much like beta, so that I'm going to pull up a little thing and then I got another little thing for you too on beta waves. But sorry,
I was fascinated by how much they look like 440 and 432 waves as well. So yeah, I asked about that in the chat.
Well, just the hemisync info of like, okay, there's frequencies you play in one ear and frequencies you play at a different frequency in the other ear, and how that's able to sync the right and left hemisphere. And this is something we should start doing in kindergarten. And our brainwaves are so out of whack, and we're not doing this. And now all these other frequencies are coming in. So like sound healing is going to really help us as these technological.
Heavily connected to German New Medicine, which is how your right and left hemisphere is emotionally regulated. So frequency is an emotional warfare game. So I have and I can pull this stuff up for some interludes if you want.
Please do.
Some of this, but I have that resonance frequency video. You know what I'm talking about. And and then,
I just shared this to Twitter.
This
you can expect a significant increase in viewers. Go on.
Thank you, Stick. Fuck yeah. But so like I was talking about, I have a video on resonance frequency therapy, but I also posted a short about how when you're a child, you're actually in a theta wave state. And so this is something I would see obviously as I'm doing these sleep studies, but when you're in the sleep state, you're more in the delta. It didn't really show actually delta correctly, in my opinion, because when you're sleeping too, there's such a difference between stage 3 delta sleep, where they're telling you it's like, oh, you have total loss of cognition. Well, yes, that's true. But it's because actually the body's completely focusing on the respiratory and the EMG system. And then vice versa, when you're in REM sleep, you can see this hyperintensity on the brain activity. Then you see a complete looseness and actually heavy disruptions in respiratory issues when you're in the REM sleep, because it's so hyper-focused on your brain activity. So this is very important to understand on how we operate through the day functionality versus the sleep functionality. And children, again, what I'm trying to come back to, are often in a theta wave state, which is actually known for hypnosis, which I think is very, in my personal opinion, from all the research I've done with types of therapy, and Julia, what you're just getting at with binaural beats, which connects to this bioneural feedback system that's also happening with therapy treatment. It's a touchy time frame. Like, you have to be very considerate of what you're messing with. And again, children in a theta wave state are in a hypnotic like state, and there's therapies that are touching on that right now, which I would be cautious of. That's my personal opinion.
Is it
and thank you for the
children,
platform.
Is it because children are also their brains have not solidified? They haven't reached the 25 age bracket.
To the
and so there's this.
I feel like there's
impression that's still there. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. Just
I feel like there's things that try to keep you out of it. I'm a really big, like, I'm a huge lover of theta brainwaves because of like having to train my mind to get into the theta brainwaves, and that's how I've was able to get the most mind-blowing remote viewing sessions and like access to things and clarity, doing like diving into the traveling clairvoyance of getting my mind there. And so I always felt like what I've noticed just in ancient time too, of all these rooms of what they're designed, the marble is cut in a certain way, and in these caves in Malta, like all these different places are, when you measure it, they're specific frequencies like that they're designed for that. So I always felt like, I just intuitively, I felt like there's so many things in the world that you're, as a child, you are in theta brainwaves, and so much comes
Julia,
in.
I feel like when you're doing the remote viewing, because of what I've seen in REM, you definitely have to be touching on some gamma. Like, it's beyond alpha, it's beyond your wake stage waves. It's something like, actually, so Dan Winters touches on this if you guys have watched his or listened to his research. And I actually mentioned this on Bernie's show quite a while ago, but my interpretation of the frequency phases were in a 3-6-9 ratio basis. Mm-hmm. So, right, like, so think about what you're talking about, and you definitely touched on theta, but probably more than you realized. You reached levels beyond that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to like really hook up to a machine and do it and measure it, because there's like so many probably fascinating things that go on. And you could see it in my pupils of me recording it when I do that and how it adjusts. So I'm sure that it could be, another level, but I always felt like there's so many things that are designed to kind of keep you out of that frequency. So I was like, God, I get so much intel and can do so many outstanding things in those brain waves. Why is there so much that keeps you out of that? And children, they say, are so pure and they get all these messages. And so I'm just a lover of that state.
This is beautiful. So I started doing sleep studies in 2009. And this was actually, I was grandfathered in. I was very lucky. I had a lot of experience as an administrative assistant. So I started in a sleep lab like that. And then part of my job was to learn what I was pretty much seeing and talk about it. So they literally asked me to come on and become like an apprentice. was a beautiful situation. I talk about this because I think this is what's missing in today's education system is more apprenticeships like this. More or less, so I was grandfathered in. So now you do have to have, a specific degree to get this, yada, yada, yada. What I'm getting at is, and what you're touching at with this activity and the depth of it is that, and I apologize because I started rambling off a little bit too much about myself here, and I don't like to do that. I'm trying to get back to what we were.
Actually, I'm going to do a check on that in 5 seconds. Finish your point. Then I'm going to talk.
And that's what I'm getting back at, guys. I missed my point here. I missed the flag because I got a little too wrapped up in my ADHD brain.
Oh, you talked about Dan Winters and the waves, and then the studying of the children.
Okay, it was just you were talking about just prior to that, not just the. I apologize, but what I can get back to a little bit with what we're getting at with the dream state is that you do. So there's something called REM behavior disorder where you do actually enact your dreams in your sleep in real life, and this is a disruptance in hormone receptors as well. So generally in REM sleep, you paralyze yourself. So this is where I think that when you're going into remote viewing, you can actually projectile yourself. You can, your body will actually appear in that state. And I'm sure they've talked about this remote viewing and what Hans and I were talking about a little bit before, because this is documented back as far as the 1920s, where people are having dreams and seeing themselves in a particular environment. And then the person in that environment, like a home, is actually seeing them as a ghost. And then when they meet in real life, there's this, very interesting interaction. So how is that possible? How are you projecting yourself? And then also paralyzing your body in the physical state. And I think I was probably starting to touch on my stuff with resonance frequency therapy stuff, but yeah, sorry. Thank you. Appreciate your patience.
Oh, you're all amazing. Wow. Random question to Julia and Ezra and Stig. Have any of you ever done a float tank or isolation 90 minutes, anything like this?
No, I've never done a float tank.
I think you would have prolific visions in one.
Right?
We'll should go in with a head cam, like a GoPro.
Pulling the 11.
Well, it's complete darkness. So you're sitting in 2,000 pounds per foot or per inch, something like this, of salt water. So you're floating on top of it, so you feel weightless and bodyless.
Are you naked?
You can be, yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to have any scratches.
Okay. Sounds great.
You're in a chamber.
Anyone should be.
Can I say
one thing?
It's pitch black. Sorry. Yeah, go on, Stig.
The only thing I really want to, I want to actually do a little segue here and say, look, because Ezra was saying I talk too much about myself, but I don't know anything about Ezra. Can we go around? I promise I'll keep my intro short. But I'd like to know more about
I was talking too much about myself. I lost touch of the topic.
But no, Ezra, do give your background for those that don't know and haven't seen.
Let's all introduce ourselves.
You've been on a few times, and we've covered it, and you're a crucial part of the Science of Sound series that we have ongoing, and that you have.
You talking about Hans?
Studies. No, Ezra.
No, you.
Your work with brainwork.
Okay, so Ezra, your microphone's.
But Hans probably has way more of a repertoire.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, my background is
everybody
was.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm just curious who everybody is, and so it's if we could all just introduce ourselves real quick, that'd be awesome.
Ezra, you go first. Hans, you go second.
Thank you. Thank you. The floor here is to Hans, so I'll make this quick. So my background is in sleep medicine. I was a tech for several years, but I graduated really quickly into the day position. So I became a certification in clinical sleep health. So I was actually doing a physician assistant type job, my own follow-up care, but I did work a lot with ventilation equipment, as well as if you guys have heard of PAP, but then also we worked with narcolepsy, a lot of other mental health that disrupted sleep. So that's a huge part of my background. And now I've actually left because I was laid off twice during the pandemic, despite the fact that I was trained in an ICU and was dispensing ventilator equipment to patients.
Where are you located?
So I moved on. And as BurnEye knows, because that's actually when he and I became close friends, as I was already well versing myself in alternative medicine. So one of my videos that we could, play as an interlude, and this is like some of my stuff that Bernie's playing in the background too, because I love the Fibonacci sequence and resonance frequency therapy, which connects to the 11th harmonic, which is a lot of what we see in frequency therapy and understanding actually how we're able to pinpoint these certain parameters, or this 3-6-9 ratio concept that Dan Winters has touched on many times. So I appreciate this opportunity to be here.
Zero is God, right? Isn't zero God?
So you're talking about maybe, and also 0-point field, which in quantum physics proves that every single molecule and atom has a 6 to 8 foot electromagnetic field around it that is influenced by resonance frequency.
We need to come back to this when we start talking.
Where are you located?
Yes.
Ezra, where are you located?
I'm in Oregon right now. I'm actually in Central Oregon. I travel the Pacific Northwest a lot. My hobby is photography and videography, so I do a lot of nature stuff. I'll play some stuff in the background for us here in a minute. But that's why this picture behind me. This is the blown up Mount St. Helens. Early morning, got up from a campsite and made my way up to this. So beautiful, love it.
I always say water is the mediator between physicality and the 0-point energy of the quantum field, and we're like 70-something% water. So yeah, that's amazing. Ezra, you're amazing.
And think about yes.
Water is important. I have a new theory about water. I'll tell it later. Hans, where are you located right now?
I'm located in Portland, Oregon. So I'm a graphic designer. I do esoteric research into ancient sites and civilizations, occult symbology, stemming the course of time, found in corporate logos and also media. And I also study a lot about Buddhist cultural mysticism, ancient art and architecture, because I grew up in Nepal, South Asia. And so I've had a lot of influence around that area. I've been to Egypt a few times. I've been to Peru.
Wow. Why were you in Nepal? Why in Nepal?
Why? So my father was there in the Peace Corps in the 1960s. He came in 1970, did his doctoral dissertation in a remote village in Gorkha district, Manung Valley, a village called Sikrung. It literally hangs off of a cliff way up in the mountains. And he spent a year there. And then in the 1980s, when I moved back to Nepal when I was 4, my father took my family up into the village and introduced us to a lot of the, mythical magic and lore of the village, shamanism. And it's taken a long time in my life to come back to these topics because I've been so immersed in my own graphic design field. But yeah, that's my background.
I got a million questions for you. I noticed you have a website, megamist.com. And Ezra, I saw you have a website, or what's going on, Ezra? You have a website?
Well, I have a YouTube. I am working on a project that we don't need to post tonight that Bernie's familiar with. We can do a different episode on that. I have a foundation for like a community project that we're working on that works with greening the desert in Central Oregon, Hans. So I actually in Silverton and Bend's transit right now.
Okay, you're right.
So I'm not far from you,
right
but I lived in Portland
Silver
for a while.
Falls
And Astoria.
The area.
So
Anyways.
actually, like, I would love the opportunity to meet with you in real life and do some considering
Let's
that we've had several.
We'll connect.
That would be excellent.
We'll connect.
And I'd love to talk to you about my project a little bit further, but we are looking at some serious funding. So we're doing some grant work. We're going to be establishing as a nonprofit very shortly. We've already been in the process of that. We do have a website. It's called tortugabazaar.org. And again, I don't want to post that tonight, so we'll go over that a different time. But Mindful Exposures is my page. Yeah, my YouTube. And I'll put up a little video here for Bernie to play if he wants to. But like I have some like random good stuff on like resonance frequency therapy, and like I said, some stuff on brainwave and breathing modalities, like the most basic stuff about breath work and actually the ability to regenerate and heal yourself just through breath work alone. There's like an amazing thing I get into where I'm gonna ramble.
Let's talk about Hans' website. Megamist.com.
It's megamist.com and megalithic.mysteries.com. It's a site where I have a lot of blog posts about esoteric knowledge in movies. I sell t-shirts and fashion design that I design there. And I have my 3 books there as well. They're through lulu.com. And it's kind of an introductory to.
Say that one more time. What.com?
It's megalithic.mysteries.com or megamist.com for short. So.
It's got 2 multiple.
We're gonna have to get it down.
It's the same site. It comes to the same location. Anyway, Julia, what's your story?
So my name's Julia Kamman. Huh?
Sign. I want to know how. I used to be in the sign business. I want to know how much that sign was.
I think like $80.
Is that real neon?
Neon. Wow.
I don't know. No, it's not real neon.
Okay.
It's
I do
an
like
LED
the
sign, but it's awesome. And the poster behind her is even more awesome. So
there's so much truth in that. There's so much truth in that image. My name is Julia Kamman, and I'm a researcher. I'm an investigator at heart, and I have just all this passion. I'm very passionate, and things I research. I do remote viewing, and I've had profound experiences doing that. And it was interesting. I did a show on Vice where I remote viewed something on camera, which was just like this amazing experience. And I got into hypnosis because I wanted to be able to facilitate. What I noticed was when I would do readings for people, what showed up during the sessions was things they were trying to run from and hide. And so like a lot of the advice that came through and things that came through, they wouldn't listen. So I'm like, God, I want to find a way to facilitate like an experience where it will change them, you know? So I got into hypnosis to facilitate that. Like, and I'll do birth charts for people to give them an insight on like their, like a deeper understanding and of who they are and just, a deeper understanding. So things I am passionate about, I constantly talk about parasite cleansing and heavy metal cleansing because for thriving health, I've just found that to be key. And we're so like bombarded with so much stuff in our food and in the air that I think it's an ancient practice that we've forgotten. And you kind of see the effects of that and where everyone's consciousness is at due to, the lack of the cleansing because we're supposed to do it every fall and spring. So, but yeah.
Sober October.
Yeah. So I'm into, Tartaria was huge for me. I'm really into cerebral spinal fluid and like what she was talking about, certain breathing techniques that will flow. It will flow and assist in, this amazing process of the chrism that's inside us and the amazing things and insights that come when you breathe and when that happens to you. I'm into photons. I'm into like quantum tunneling. I'm super passionate about water, quantum photonic lasers. And how, I don't know, I'm really obsessed with the area in and around Siberia. The biggest megaliths in the world are in Siberia. And the Altai Mountains and that whole area. I could like, literally, it's like, Julia, what are you doing this weekend? Like, I would much rather geek out on like hydrogen and helium production in Siberia than like do anything else. To me, that's like so much fun. So yeah, and just... awesome. Unlocking things and reminding people of like you're so powerful, like and of just practicing that, and there's so much we can do that we haven't been taught, and so we're all kind of like little babies out here, like learning all these things, and it's at such an incredible time. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Beautiful. You are really definitely a jack of all trades kind of lady. I love it. Me too.
Julia does amazing work.
When you mentioned remote viewing, look at that.
So remote
when
viewing,
you mentioned,
I mentioned that isolation chamber, isolation tank. You would find this incredibly beneficial, Julia. I think you should do a session. Go to like float on or something.
Julia is gonna have a Stranger Things moment and become like 11 in the isolation take if when that happens. It'll be epic, right?
At this point, if any of you have lucid dreamed yourself in a location that you later found yourself in, which is really remote viewing to some
You
extent.
keep saying remote viewing. I want to talk
We're
about.
Wait, really quick. Wait, there's something I want to mention because I've mentioned it like a gazillion times on BurnEye show, but there's this project I'm a part of that is very fascinating. It's a tablet. It's an ancient tablet that Wyatt Earp found. They think Wyatt Earp found and like gifted it to his friend who is his pallbearer and his mining partner. And he left it in his family and his bloodline has it. And just, it's absolutely fascinating. There's, cuneiform on it, Proto-Sumerian, and there's this third ancient language, and it's Anana is on it. And this was found in and around in and around Arizona. And so I took a Sumerian because I would do sessions on it. And that's how I got a part of the project was they had me do a session and they were like, wait, you don't need to touch it because they thought I needed to come out and touch it. And I was like, no, I got it. I'll just do it. I'll do a mini session. And I did. And I wrote it down and I gave them the results and they said, Julia, we didn't think you could do this. We didn't believe in any of this shit. What you wrote down is on the B side of the tablet. We didn't tell you about the B side of the tablet. And they were like, so would you like to be a part of this project? So I was like, absolutely. So I took a Sumerian college course because there's things that I'll see, but in this, I don't necessarily know what it means. But that whole thing is fascinating. But I just wanted to mention that.
You took a college course where?
Yeah. And
by the way,
there's Phoenician writing in Utah.
Phoenician writing in Utah. All those, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. There's Tutankhamun's his priest's cartouche was found in Utah. I love Terry Carter. I love his stuff that he uncovers. I love that guy.
Right. Shout out Terry
Carter. Hang out. I got to close out Terry Carter's show.
You're in Irvine, right? I'm sorry, not Irvine. I meant to say Orange County.
Yeah, I get to meet all the old school boys.
let's get on with the introductions. Yeah, who are you?
Where's your location, Julia? Are you?
I'm in Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach.
And I grew up near, well, not quite near, but I went to high school in Upland. Are we familiar with Upland, California?
Yeah.
It's near Pomona. I think Julia probably knows that area. So Ezra's up in, where did she say she was?
She's now in Oregon, traveling.
I'm in Oregon, and you're in Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
I'm in Oregon, and I'm in Portland.
Yeah. Bent, Oregon. That's my grandfather's name is Bent.
I love Bend.
I was supposed to be named Bent, but I got named Stig instead.
Oh, it's Bend, not Bent.
Oh, Bend. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
but I did hear a Bent.
Okay,
what's your story, Stig? Who are you?
Hi there. What is my story? I'm 57. I'm almost 60. And I have been getting this wake-up call about being old recently. I got a really bad shot.
That's it.
I got a really bad shot in the, not the mirror, but a picture I took because I had to do my passport. And the picture, so I was doing really well lit and I looked horrible. So that's why I'm wearing these sunglasses.
There's a statement about passports. If you look like the passport in your photo, it's time to go home.
Then you're going to love this. Watch this. I was trying to open my Twitter. To show you another picture, but watch this. This is horrible. Don't take your passport photos in the morning. I've had to look at this picture for 10 years. No, not allergic.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Okay, that's it. I've had to look at that for 10 years.
Bad angle.
Do not do your passport photo in the morning. Get it after you woke up. Make sure all the gravity's kicked in. Okay, so my story is
don't do it when you're in the middle of an abusive relationship and you've gained 40 pounds because of that. That's my photo.
She didn't deserve me. No, I'm just joking.
Truth.
I'm just joking. Was I the abuser? Probably. Okay, no, so I want to make it quick. I'm an artist. I painted that behind me. It's for sale. I'm trying to raise money. That's 5 foot by 10 foot wide. It's called The Path. The other paintings I have, I'm working on the Rashat structure. It's the Eye of Africa. I've been there 3 times, and that's my current passion is ancient history. But I'm going to be getting back into the art. And so I'm going to try to sell some paintings to raise money. I am running out of money. So I'm either gonna have to get a job or get creative. And so I am gonna go back to the Rashad structure this month. As far as introduction goes, I am from California. I was born in San Francisco. I became artistically active in like 85. I graduated from high school 85. I went to Guatemala, learned Spanish. I joined the army, learned Chinese. And I'm really interested in Hans, your story about where you're from, because I'm very interested. I've been to 35 countries now, and I've seen the world, and I don't mind staying home. It gets tough after a while, but I do have a connection. I was in Taiwan 25 years, and I do have a registered company there. If I go totally broke, I got to go back there to work, and I have a registered company, and I'll start that up again.
Well, if you ever need graphic support, I will help you out. So,
well, we can talk about all that. I've been doing graphic design myself my whole life. I self-published 2 books. They're on Amazon. One is not porn, not sex tourism, but called Not SARS, Just Sex, written by Gitz Ferrari. Gitz is Stig backwards. It's my pen name. It was about the outbreak of SARS in Taiwan. I should be selling this already, and I don't even mention it in my freaking ancient history videos.
Wait, are you connecting it to like the sex trade in that area? I'm curious.
I say that one more time.
Is your title connecting it to the sex trade in the area?
Well, no, the sex trade is a serious issue, and that's why I always state I'm not into sex tourism, or I don't believe in prostitution is sex slavery. I know all about it.
What does that wording then mean in the title of this book?
Well, okay, and that's the thing. It was a play on words, and a few people knew. It was a 976 commercial, and where they said not SARS.
You don't think there's any connection?
Just sex. I wrote the book. It was actually just a commercial.
I heard there was.
I really wish I had used a different title after all these years. And the cover, I'm like trying to show off some girls. They were my students. I didn't have sex with those girls.
Can I ask you really quick? Was not SARS?
But you implied it on the cover, you silly dog.
Revolution happening, and that there was contamination due to that. Weren't they talking about it?
Contamination due to sex trade?
No,
all
like
virus
sex trade
can be sexually
transmitted. Well, okay, I did
It's
start
an energy signature.
Okay, I'm going to finish my intro and then we can continue. I did start a group on Facebook, anti-slavery, but from the Roberta Brown book called Sex Slave, I believe. I learned everything about the thing. It's a thick book she wrote called that. Now, I did write a second book, and you're in Alberta, Bernie, and you're going to do your introduction next. And you've been so supportive to me. Thank you so much. Honestly, Bernie, you really have, and I owe you so much. And I hope to see you here soon. It's cold as hell here, but before I let go, I'm going to say the second book was about a Ponzi scheme, and I don't say that lightly. I was involved in an investment product. I wasn't running a Ponzi scheme, but it wasn't a Ponzi scheme. But that was the second book that I wrote. And by the way, if anybody buys this or donates to my GoFundMe, they get a free copy. As far as the sex thing goes,
desperate because he's running out of time and he's going back to the Eye of Africa. Like,
oh, by the way, slavery is legal in Mauritania still. This is an issue. It is an issue, but it's different over there.
Even here in Portland, I can go up to 82nd.
Slavery really a one-color issue because it's not in the past. It hasn't been in the past. Like
there are more slaves alive today. There are more slaves today than there ever have been in the history of our, what we think is our history. There are more slaves today. Sex and labor. And by the way, I can go over how these people get entrapped and what type of person gets entrapped. I didn't really want to get into the slave thing, but it is an issue. And the fact is, Facebook, when I tried to start that group, just totally like shadow banned it. They don't want it. They don't want to help with that. And that's the big problem right there.
In fact, like, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe they were like charged with actually supporting and enabling that trade. It's quite bad. But let's not get this stream destroyed and canceled.
We can go back to that. Bernie, jump into your intro. Bernie, I don't know anything about you.
Well, my intro is actually made by the lovely lady above you. So we'll just play another video made by Ezra, aka
Who's BurnEye? Who's BurnEye?
I don't know.
One end of the scale, we have a giant concrete
Can
and
you guys
steel
hear it?
bridge
I'm not sure if it's
destroyed
on.
by
I can
resonance.
hear it. I can hear
And
it.
on the other, we have a small crystal glass shattered. So maybe we could shatter something even smaller, something really small, something you would need a microscope to see. Maybe we could shatter a living microorganism. But to do that, you'd need some sort of theory to serve as a basis. And we find that basis in a wonderful book called The Rainbow and the Worm, The Physics of Organisms, by a scientist, Mei Wan Ho. And that book makes a very strong case that living organisms and cells are liquid crystals, or in the least, they have many properties
liquid
of
crystals.
liquid crystals. Now, we're all familiar with liquid crystals because they are in our laptop computer screens. LCD display, liquid crystal display. And we can change the qualities of the liquid crystals in our computer screen by sending special electronic signals to it. We can change the color and the shape on the screen with these signals.
But we can only see 200 dpi.
So maybe we could change a biological living liquid crystal with a special electronic signal. But in order to do that, we would need some kind of device. So we search the US patent database, and we find this invention by a physician, Dr. James Baer of Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's called a resonant frequency therapy device, and its purpose is to induce a resonant vibration in a living organism or cell. And there are two really important things about this device. The first is that it uses a very special kind of antenna. They take a hollow glass sphere, they evacuate the air, they put in some helium gas. And when we send in our electronic signals, the helium gas lights up like a fluorescent light. An electrified gas is called a plasma. So this is called a plasma antenna. And it has many special properties uniquely suited for this kind of work. The second important aspect about Dr. Baer's invention is that the output always pulses. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. And now we go to the biology laboratory and we take Dr. Baer's device, and the hunt begins through a microscope for a frequency which will shatter a living microorganism. So now we're searching for the magic frequency. And we start with 100 hertz, and we look through the microscope to see if anything's happening. We watch for 5 minutes. Nothing happens. So we try 101 hertz. We look through the scope for 5 minutes, and nothing happens. So we try 102, 103, and so on. Over the course of 15 months, we try hundreds and hundreds of frequencies, if not thousands, until we find the magic combination. The answer is you have to have two input frequencies, one low, one high, and the higher frequency must be 11 times the lower.
The 11th
what
harmonic.
Musicians would call the 11th harmonic. When we add the 11th harmonic, we begin to shatter microorganisms like a crystal glass. These are the first videos taken. We showed these videos to our friends in the biology department. They said they hadn't seen anything quite like it. It seems to be a new phenomenon. So now we know we can destroy a microorganism. And the question comes up, but can you target a specific organism with a specific frequency? We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz. So now we attack leukemia cells. Leukemia cell number 1 tries to grow a copy of itself, but the new cell is shattered into dozens of fragments and scattered across the slide. Leukemia cell number 2 then hyperinflates and also dies. Leukemia cell number 3 then tries to make another cancer cell. The new cell is shattered and the original cell dies. But killing a handful of leukemia cells is not enough for a patient. What kind of numbers can we do? In repeated controlled laboratory experiments, independently assayed by the 2 top experts, we killed an average of 25% to 42% of the leukemia cells, as high as 60%. They also determined that we slowed the growth rate of the cancer by as much as 65%, so a double effect.
That's so awesome.
I have verified this quote.
Who is this? Elsa? Esla?
Yeah, sorry.
I feel so lonely. I'm so lonely. Nobody's around. Future medicine will be medicine of frequencies. 100%. Medicine of frequencies.
The Redwoods.
I'm still here.
We're all still here. But we have to give a discretion that this is healing of the soul and spiritual, and no medical advice being given, just experimental science.
No, but it's still technology.
And a huge FYI, I'm not a doctor, and my licensing actually requires me currently to work under a board-certified sleep physician who can also suck my... I'm just kidding.
Full disclosure, I'm not an archaeologist.
Appreciate you guys. This has been a good night.
You guys were talking about remote viewing.
I'm just a researcher.
You guys were talking about remote viewing. Remote viewing. Check out my #1 video from like 2013. I forgot the year. 13, I think. Remote viewing by David Dubine from Adapt 2030. I don't know if you know that channel, but we used to know each other in Taiwan.
Old school conspiracy channel.
Ezra, can you post that in the chat? That was an amazing video. Sorry, just curious.
Which video? Oh, the one that we were just watching?
Yeah, oh my God.
Definitely being able to create. By the way, I didn't catch what was the weapon they used. They use a frequency on those cancer cells. And I do believe
Raymond Rife.
Is that Terrence McKenna? That wasn't Terrence McKenna, was it?
No. So Royal Rife worked with somebody called Dr. James Baer, who took the resonance frequency into plasma technology. So that's what Anthony Holla did with Nova Biotronics, is he took both the Rife and the Baer concepts and put them together more or less, but more on the plasma gas side of it, which was what I was trying to show you guys, because I actually took that from his website, some of that imagery, so that you guys could relay. And then I was trying to show also through imagery the 11th harmonic concept, because it's really important in this.
Like with the Rife machines these days, like none of them have the plasma tubes, which is like huge.
Right. So
missing component.
Get at this with, because like, see, there's so much conjecture on. Let me get back to this 11. It's like
100 to 300,000 hertz.
We now know.
So
100 to 300,000.
So I want you guys to get back to like old school concepts of this, and old school concepts get just straight up into musical theory. So this gets into like primal screaming. Like, we as a culture, we don't sing, we don't express ourselves, we don't primal scream. Sorry, I'm trying to find the exact point where
I do. You don't know that.
There you go.
The neighbors
that's why
playing a lot.
I need to bring up the 440 hertz versus 432 hertz. Because a lot of our music today is it's called a saw pattern, and it's very grating, and we don't necessarily recognize it because everything's digital. But the old music was just a shift off of that. You don't really harmonically, you don't really notice it, but you do physically. Yeah, for sure. Anyway.
No, this is beautiful.
Key point.
Because this actually really quick, this actually coincides with the resonance with your actual brain and Hertz activity, where he was showing, and what he did show you with the gamma, alpha, beta, where he was showing the Hertz, that's accurate. Now, the actual like descriptions, unfortunately, were not, because it does interject so heavily. We are very unaware of the fact that, like, again, your REM sleep is going to have gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And people don't understand that. And delta can have alpha in it. And we're seeing this actually as a trajectory further with electronics. So this is why I will tell you all, like, monitor your blue light activity, monitor your time exposed to this in front of you, because the more you just literally put your hand on a tree for 20 minutes, and I could get into the whole science of that and what's been documented there, is
or even
micronutrients.
Yep, hiking through the woods. Yeah.
Well, like if your left ear hears 200 hertz tone and your right ear hears 210, your brain perceives the difference and begins to sync to that frequency.
You were talking about this earlier, Julia. So
the hemisync.
What is this all about? Sorry.
It plays like Monroe.
I have extreme tinnitus, so help me solve that problem.
The hemisync was Robert Monroe came up with it. You guys ever heard of the Monroe Institute?
Oh, absolutely. And Monroe Institute, CIA funded, right? And connected, and MK Ultra connected.
So hemisync is short for hemispheric synchronization, and it's a technique designed to synchronize the left and right hemispheres of our brain. Right. But and using specific sound frequencies. And so, to enhance focus, deeper the meditation, altered states of consciousness. I'm always looking for things to amplify, like for
what I'm showing you right now. So you're literally they're literally telling you how to separate it, and we're literally showing how to eradicate cancer cells by connecting it. And we all know this through any musician understands like this synergy, like this, right? And this is why we just talked about 432 versus 440, because 432 is out of sync of the 369 rhythm that we're now understanding heavily influences our brain activity. This is so beautiful, guys.
I brought this up earlier because I'm super fascinated with these frequencies, because there's not a lot of differentiation between the two that we recognize, but our body definitely reacts to it differently. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
Vibrate. And sorry to interrupt, Julie. I was just trying to say that binaural beats is the same.
Oh wait, it happened tonight in class.
Yeah, the hemisync, it's not sound, like it's not music that they use for the hemisync. It's like subtle tones. Like it's not, so that's what you're saying, Bernie?
So part of like mental health therapy, especially with PTSD, has come about, and part of my therapy with, like hooking electrodes and monitoring activity this way, is something called bio and neurofeedback, which is heavily connected to binaural beats. So they're monitoring the left and right hemisphere. Again, why I'm going to revert this back, and I'm going to just gets basic as basic gets if you really bring it down to that level, because German New Medicine will tell you that your emotions are left and right heavily influenced, which connects to feminine and masculine. I could get into where else does that connect, folks? Eastern medicine.
Yep.
And Chinese and meridian medicine and reflexology. Yep. So that's what I'm going to school for. I'm going
reflexology.
Yes. And I'm beyond that. I mean, that's just like one small
more
aspect,
than
to be honest. Like I'm doing all Eastern medicine, all alternative. I'm adding on to the credentials I have, but I'm going to be more hands-on. Yeah. I mean, again, you guys, you can't tell this by my stature, but I'm a 6'1" woman. I am like a hike.
Wait, what?
If you want a good massage with deep pressure, like I'm gonna bring the fucking elbow. And
that's my love language. Massage is my love language.
Right below the belt line is
the Amazon.
Do you guys want to hear my fantasy? My literal fantasy is to travel the world. This is now it's not going to happen because I'm sharing it. But like to travel the world and go see the best masseuses and healers, like hand healers, like healing touch, like all the amazing masseuses and healers around the world, and to go and document getting massages.
Be very
by
careful.
them.
Don't do Taiwan. Taiwan does not know how to give massages.
With you, but dude. So Bernie knows that we actually had a project that we're trying to happen here. We were about to go to Ecuador to work with the Quechuan tribe.
Dude, I want to go.
We're not okay. I don't mean to disappoint you, but that actually fell through.
Damn it! Let's make just all the healing tribes of the world contact me. Just put me in contact. Put us in contact.
Yes, we have like more local connections with other types of tribes. Honestly, it all connects. Like when you really want to take the South American, it really does push up and has pushed up into that southwestern part of the U.S. So I have a friend who's a Maidu Kankau tribe member, and she took me. It's actually burned up, but I got to go to their sweat lodge. I got to go to their like communal kitchen. Like,
oh, I want to do a sweat lodge
on their sacred land. Like, so this exists, and like when I talk to her and I talk about the there's so much synchronicity. It's fucking ridiculous. So we can reenact it. We can read. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be in that exact location. But yeah, Bernie was there during those OG days.
Hey, so I wanted to say one
when
thing.
we make it.
May I? Oh, see, I got my notes. I wrote them down. First of all, I noticed a comment. Lucy Rosa says it's all waves and frequency at the end of the day, and that correlates with what I'm trying to say right here, which is that first of all, the remote viewing. I tried to talk about it before. I said, was that Terrence McKenna? It was not. Remote viewing is one of my number one videos from my friend. Oh, I did already talk about that. Never mind. I'm repeating myself.
No, Next, just that Terrence McKenna is more wrapped up. Yeah, sorry.
Say that again. Well, let me finish and then I'll stop talking. So yeah, the remote viewing thing is really important to me, and everybody's talking about it. I don't do it, but before I talk about the next point, I did forget to mention my website. I have my art on there. Go check my website. It's in the thing. And also, I'm talking about the trip to Rashat structure. I just got my website going. But regarding watching those germs or those organisms get blown up by frequency, I had to write this down. I went to CPAC where I saw Jimmy Corsetti and I saw Graham Hancock talk. But there was another lady.
To Jimmy about the recurrent structure.
Shout out Dubselect.
Okay, I will answer that question gladly. But let me finish one thing about where I want to say, I don't remember her name, but I put down the water lady because this lady did a presentation about water. And when
Vita Austin, I bet you it was Vita Austin, where she like
right.
Yes,
yeah, Vita. She's amazing.
Julia, I know the frozen water lady.
Yes,
it blew my mind. I mean, I couldn't believe this. We're talking about frequency and resonating and the water, and it's like it's all definitely connected there with
because she would show up a picture, like she would tell the water. She would be like, she would hold up a wedding invitation. She froze the water in a petri dish, and then it would show a ring. And because water holds memory, water is programmable, but it's so much more than that. And we're 70% water. And
give it a message. Don't say program. It's a message. It's vibration. It's a thought. You're giving it a thought, and you don't have to give it a thought. You can show it. You can show it a penny or show it an environment, and it'll do it.
Guys, how did the monks in Tibet like levitate stone with sound?
Oh well.
And now we're starting to play with this technology, as Bernie knows, because Apex has played with this as well, and it starts to somewhat connect with plasma. But now we're able to actually create free energy with the same experiences. And also, this is a heart of inspiration in the LA fires. A lot of what actually came out of it were the sound bowls. They survived. They were like relatively unharmed. The sound bowls, they weren't charcoaled, and they continued to hold the sound. You know, why is that? Because it has to do with the material, of course, but yeah, it's resonance frequency.
It's all about frequency. And by the way, I've been to the Rashat structure, and I think that it was created by a Birkeland current, plasma, frequency, energy, not electricity, but related, and a long time ago. And it seems like
much like the Grand Canyon and other sites. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. frequency.
Trying to find my pictures of my own frozen water ice samples of showing structured water, but yeah, it's so fascinating stuff. Jerry Pollack.
I got a bunch of
Julia,
pictures.
have you ever worked with water in any of your remote viewing sessions?
Oh my God, yes! I actually wrote a book about it. I need to find somebody to polish my book. The majority of it is about water, but it all started from a profound session I did for that show and what I was shown for that show on Vice, and it was it was amazing. But the Jerry Pollack, he's freaking awesome. And I was going on a rant on Andreas's show last week, talking about like how he proposed this like groundbreaking idea that when we breathe, it's not just oxygen like our bodies need, like that we need to survive and thrive, that it's the electrons from oxygen that are like the real stars of the show. It's like, because like instead like so oxygen molecules don't just dissolve in your blood, like they lose their electrons, these tiny particles that are carrying electricity, and those electrons are then picked up by the hemoglobin in your red blood cells. And so your red blood cells act like little electric shuttles, and they deliver these electrons all over our body, because electrons power like these chemical reactions our body needs to survive. So they're like the fuel for your cells' engines. So like of looking at it is like when we're breathing, we're not just taking in oxygen, but we're recharging our body's electrical system. And that to me is mind blowing, you know, especially in this technological age of wow. And if you sign up for simulation theory as well, of like, we're in this construct and we're we're electrical beings. Our bones, huh? What?
No.
Yep.
Hans was saying something, but it wasn't loud enough. Hans, what did you say?
I think we lost Hans, maybe.
Oh, we lost him. Okay, because he's all frozen now.
Okay, he said we lost me.
We all went into spiral mode there for a second.
No, that was just you, Hans.
Yeah, that was just you.
We were all say something too, Hans. You said something. What did you say?
Must be on my side.
You had buffering.
I was just complimenting Julia on what she was saying. It's like spot on. Yeah.
She's just looking at it as like our of just our body, like our bones are piezoelectric, you know, and I just feel like our third eye, our pineal is almost like a receiver that taps into a source, right? And just we're electrical beings. We need voltage. Like we're supposed to eat for voltage, and just like, wow, like there's this, I always talk about, there's like this organic source, like there's this organic version, you could call it the Christ consciousness, and like an organic version of that. And then there's the mechanical version. And we're coming along these times where you're going to need to know the difference of what you're tapping into, which source, because they're duplicating an organic field. The whole point, and they want our insights. They want us doing shows and talking about this to organize the info, to duplicate the all-knowing field, to duplicate the organic information, the Christ consciousness, the accurate one. So you're seeing, it gets a little blurry. I hope I'm explaining it right, because I'm really bad at explaining things. But
I hear you saying we're all our own Tesla coils.
Not at all.
Do your own research.
I'm a Tesla coil,
right?
We are batteries. Hello, this is what the Matrix was all about. So you go back to movies. Why are they telling us that we're, a battery? Because we are, in a sense. We fuel all the technology around us, whether it's our phones, our cameras, whatnot. We are part of this feeling of construction. So yeah, no, you're spot on, Julia. Thank you.
Phew. Somebody understood.
Oh, I got it too. Sorry, I'm muted and I'm trying.
Oh my God!
Find pictures to help like illustrate what you're talking about from my own frozen water and structured water stuff, and it's bang on. And it's like you put the intention in, and
have you done frozen water experiments, Bernie? Sorry,
many. Many.
Have you done the
Oh my God.
rice,
Right.
the cooked rice?
I have a lot of photographs from what's her name? What's your name, Julia? The lady that you mentioned?
Vita Austin. You know what? Also applying that too to Nostradamus, when he would scry, he would put it in water and he put a specific crystal. They say it was obsidian, I think, or quartz. Whatever. You hear a couple different things, but he would put it and place it in water. And you apply the information that Vita Austin's amazing, beautiful work has done, which takes Emoto's work like a whole nother level, because Emoto showed like, oh, when you talk to something, you program it with this, you charge it with that, it becomes that, and look at the effect it makes. Well, she took it to a whole nother level of like showing up a French braid, and then it literally, when she froze it, like it copied the field, but she also asked it a question, or when she said her name, it then or she asked about her mother. She asked about her mother had passed away, and it gave her initials the way it gave V and an A, which Vita used to sign her name like that. So we're talking about something more profound where spirit is able to enter this. Like it's this, the water is so magnificent.
This same woman has had like pregnant women like speak into the water and like project certain imagery. And all of this is conjectured right into their own family path. You can't deny it, right? And so for me in my own personal journey, and I feel like as I'm hearing this from a lot of you, there's sinks. There are sinks you cannot deny. And that's my path. And I'm hearing that right here, right now. So thank you, Julia, for sharing that.
You said there's interactions in the dream world, and so there's also this as well. And so we have the ability to pull some of these ideas out of our dreams as well. And so I think that's also huge here, because what are a lot of these constructs? Well, are they dreams?
Brandon's from my channel. I saw one that she did. I saw her at CPAC 2023, and she had a penny. She showed a penny to the water, and the water duplicated the penny. There was Lincoln's face in the water. Okay, it blew my mind.
Yep.
Hi, Lucy.
So one thing I would love to remind you all about what we're talking about right now, an intention to water alone. So before I play this video that's in front of you, Wim Hof is known for his ice therapy treatments, okay? But what you don't know about Wim Hof is why he got famous was he was working on a project where he was injecting straight to the veins Ebola, excuse me, or other like heavy, like serious, like, you know, heavy and I can post the the video, the original research on this. So if you want me to back that up, there's no problem. What I'm trying to get at is that he taught these people, there were certain people he taught multitudes of hours prior how to do a breathing technique to stave off any symptoms of this heavy influence and this like sickness coming on. And then he had a group of people who did not have that time frame, and he taught them so many hours before, and they were prepped in advance, and they went through this. And these people came out without having symptoms. So when I get real vague with where I'm going here, they had, and I didn't read that comment, so I apologize. But if you want to get into the details of what it had nothing to do with ice therapy. So a lot of people like conjecturize that, and what his original, why he originally became famous was due to breath work alone. So what I'm getting is he injected them. They were able to stave off any symptoms within a 4-hour period just by doing the breath work alone.
And that to me was very profound. Like the cerebral spinal fluid, it stores light and it's constantly transmitting vibration and light. And it's this energetic fluid that it creates that can reach every center of the brain and the entire central nervous system instantaneously. And meaning that so it creates these spontaneous states of consciousness that arrives not through mental thought, but through a wisdom of light that is conducted by water. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is flowing inside of us. So when you do certain breathing exercises in these monks, you hear about these monks that levitate. They're accessing, they're knowing how to move that. Because there's certain breathing practices that will flow your cerebral spinal fluid. And what's that guy's name? He literally says the soul swims in the cerebral spinal fluid. And guess what? Ocean water is one molecule different. like our cerebral spinal fluid. One, it's so similar.
Like, right, like I could like take you on many different paths.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway.
No, Hans, we're taking over, please.
Oh, I was just saying, Julie and I did a great show on this about a year ago about soma and cerebral spinal fluid and how it affects, all of us in a different element. So yeah, check that out.
I think I'm a pretty good breather, by the way. I just want to say that.
I used to hate like playing Call of Duty with people that were like heavy breathers. Like, bro, get your mic out of the back of your throat.
Oh, triggered.
What's your sleep like? Like, okay, first of all, you guys, again, you realize like the majority of what we were doing is respiration. So I'm monitoring these
like all the time.
And it has so much to do with your head position. Like so many people sleep with their head kinked. They don't even realize they're giving themselves their own apnea.
Dude, don't even get me started. I don't think we should be sleeping on metal springs. Like I was anti-mattresses like my whole life. I think it's so bad for our whole body.
Metal springs are so wrong.
I have a latex mattress because it's not one of these memory foams. It's an amazing mattress that I have. But I also have a gird pillow, which allows me to move up above and sit at a specific angle when I sleep. And this has been so amazing. It's, oh my God, one of the best things I ever purchased.
Propping your head up so you don't have sleep apnea, sweetheart.
Have you guys seen those things? I want to try one where those mats you put it where you sleep and it's like the resonance of the earth mat, an earthing mat.
Grounding one?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. A grounding mat?
Yeah,
I want one.
Amazing. Yes.
No. Hold on, guys. Hold on. You realize you can do the same thing.
Brandon, that is not comfortable.
You can also
Brandon
make your
just said he sleeps on a Japanese roll.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Hot Stig. Let me explain this. Like you take your shoes off. You take your socks off. You walk across the street. In front of my house is 100-plus-year-old hemlock that's like probably 40 feet in diameter. Like it's a fucking gorgeous
ground with that
piece of beauty. And you guys don't even know the oaks you probably have that are this old and this round and this big in the most industrial parts of the fucking United States. Okay, what I'm getting at is take your fucking shoes and socks off and touch a tree. 20 minutes.
Touch the ground.
80% reduction in inflammation.
But I want to sleep on. I'm just saying, like, I want a way to sleep on amazing energy. I want to cuddle it. I want to hump it. I want to hump good energy.
Let me tell you guys something. Before any of you were born, I know that Hans is the oldest one out of all of you. Before even Hans was born, I met Uri Geller at a Las Vegas show. At the same show, I paid a psychic a reading. I had a reading. They said, take off your shoes and put your feet on the ground. Walk on the dirt. Ground yourself, right?
Yes, you need to. We all need to. I mean, this is key. I go out in my backyard every night. Even if it's freezing, I will step on the ground and do it. Yeah.
I always do it. And by the way, I'm filthy around here, but I ground myself in my kitchen because there's stuff that needs to be swept up. And I walk right on top of it. I'm sorry.
My neighbors know I'm like so weird. They'll see me, my hands on the tree, and be like, "Oh, Julia,
you got to touch the
trees.
You not just touch the ground, but the trees."
Sorry, where are you at, Stig?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, and I asked everybody else. I know where everybody else is. I'm near Palm Springs, and so when this happened, I was Palm Springs, California, right by the San Andreas Fault, and when I went and saw that reading, when I had that reading and I saw Uri Geller, I was in Upland and I was interested in art. I was already starting to paint. The medium also told me, you've got a lot of posters on your wall. I said, no, it's paintings. But it was right. He nailed it. And the other thing he told me, and believe it or not, I was listening to the next reading he did, and he said the exact opposite. Oh, you got to stop walking on the ground. Put your shoes off. Stop grounding yourself. And I was like, that's just, what is he just going back and forth? Because I'm skeptical. But
Yeah, me
I've been
too.
carrying that for many years, and I do make sure I walk on all sorts of stuff barefoot.
On all uneven surfaces. You can't just
Yeah.
be a trail runner. You have
Well, you
to
mentioned
also like
reflexology. You
yes,
did. And I
yeah,
in
I'm actually
Taiwan,
like that's my studies
I was buying those tiles that
in
you can snap
meridian
together and walk on the rocks, but it was tiles. I was very into
Okay.
that, but I
So
actually gave it
again,
all up.
trail runner, like super uneven steps. So I also run backwards. I go up the hill backwards. I go sideways. I turn around and I go the other way sideways. This is super. So this is called. There's a book called shit. I
Wow.
apologize.
Book
It's like
called shit. That's
Wait,
pretty
Bert
good.
and Ernie didn't introduce themselves, and neither did Bernie. What the fuck?
Bernie's an alchemist.
Bernie and Ernie and the apocalyptic.
We'll get back to the
pyramid.
reflexology after Bernie introduced him fucking self.
All right. Well, what we're looking at there is I got some titanium metal coils that I just made and got metal of. And it turns out that some titanium oxides and different titanium compounds apparently are a key part of the metamaterials in UFOs. So I'm like, hey, this works out nice. Let's make some monoatomic and Ormus titanium, and that's what we got going on there. And I've been running it for a couple days since getting it, and titanium exponentially stronger lasts longer, and it's the key part of what you want to make your anode out of. Something strong like titanium, maybe a mixture with tungsten alloy potentially, but that doesn't corrode a road right away, and you can make yourself a water-powered car. But yeah, that's learning going on.
I have titanium. Who is Bernie, though? You told us about the titanium. Who's Bernie? And this is my titanium. It says it right there. Bernie, thank you for being our host today.
No problem.
And you guys with your jars full of liquid reminds me of my pickling. I do pickling sometimes. A lacto-fermented salt, basically. It's just salt. And your jars remind me of that. And I think that's the way to eat your vegetables is lacto-fermented.
Yeah, I like pickles. I like pickling. It's kind of crazy, actually. I used one jar where that was dill pickles. I hadn't it was washed out, but you could still smell the dill pickle a little bit in it. And the Ormus that came out of it was like dill pickle Ormus. It was like the weirdest thing. It all turned this neon green and it was something else. But yeah.
So
this brings up
a
question on Julian. Sorry.
I just need to lay that out. People ask me often if I'm pregnant. I don't need to detail those. I'm just saying, but prior to that, pickles and coffee. Pickle juice. At that. Come on, guys. Okay, first of all, though, ginger, lemon, and not to all extents fermentation, because not everybody's gut biome, but you want to talk about the brain being the gut being the second brain. We could get into the heart having
it's the
own
same. It has the same enzymes as the brain. Yep, correct.
Exactly. Right. So it does all connect. If you can't fully articulate that, in my personal opinion, you're kind of missing half the point in why I get back to balance. At the end of the day, every fucking thing you do is power of intention, which is connected to balance. Sorry. Getting a little on my.
Oh, that's so true.
No,
but if you notice the sheeple next to me, that's real life. I took this photograph. That's a herd of bighorn sheep, Heart Mountain, Oregon. One of my favorite ever fucking things ever in my life.
What are those animals? Are those animals?
They're bighorn sheep.
Bighorn sheep.
Yeah. Okay.
South of Bend, you'll see a lot of these. Yeah. Interesting.
I saw a lot of elk in my travels up to Montana.
Very nice. Well, you'll see bighorn sheep in Montana, that's for sure.
I'm having some pickle juice. This is no vinegar added, lacto fermented.
That's amazing. Girl, if there's any ladies watching, if you ever get cramps, the best remedy for it is just drink pickle juice.
Interesting. What?
I believe this is the pickle juice they're talking about.
Yeah.
Dr.
I understand
Gundry.
calling it a little bit more. Thank you.
Dr. Gundry says, don't eat the pickles, drink the juice. I'm putting this back in the fridge.
I always drink pickle juice when I'm like late night. I'm coming
back. Hungover. Oh, it's probably the best. It's probably a great hangover remedy.
Amazing. It's so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rich in a lot of nutrients, your body.
Electrolytes, salt, and pickle juice.
There's something magical about pickle juice.
The salt is no more. It's not salt anymore. That you put. What I just put away was lactose.
How to flush your liver is fresh lemon juice. You can put like a lemon wedge and let it sit, and you're going to taste that bitterness. And otherwise, like ginger, you put that in hot water. Same thing, fresh ginger. All those things are going to flush your system beautifully. But guess what? How I start my day? Fucking half a pickle.
Yes. Oh, I love pickles.
What kind of pickle we talking
Shots
about?
of pickle juice.
Like carrots and onions.
Shout out to Eric.
Fuck yes.
Shout out to Eric Delmer. I followed his protocol for pretty much 4 times a year. I don't do it as much as he does, but when you're going into a new moon situation, you want to fast or micro fast for a day before. And then you want to buy some bath salts, basically, electrolytes, bath salts. And so you drink this.
Like Epsom salts for the bath, right?
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
We have to,
the ones that
put
are
a discretion because you are from Portland. We just sorry, just kidding.
Really quick, Hans and Sarah, who are from the Pacific Northwest, which gets ostracized frequently, are not doctors. Though I have had a medical practice and actually saw my own patients in follow-up care, but cannot say otherwise because I don't work under a board certified.
Agreed. Me neither.
Otherwise,
thank you.
We are actually able to talk about this specifically. Please, Hans.
So I do a formula that is literally every 3 hours you take the Epsom salts in a pint or a glass of water, mostly a glass of water. You're gonna need to be around a toilet for sure because it's gonna flush your system hardcore from your liver. You do this for 3 sessions. So every 3 hours, the day after you fast, obviously, you need to fast before this, which is key. And then the next day you wake up and you do it every 2 hours. But the intermittent is you want to ingest like 4 ounces of lemon juice or 2 ounces of lemon juice and 4 ounces of olive oil together, and you want to get very much vertical or horizontal when you go to sleep quickly because this is going to flush your system. So the olive oil helps move stuff through your system. The lemon juice helps break up stuff through your system, and you will have an excrement of peas that are coming from your liver because you've fasted obviously the day before. And this is amazing, and everybody needs to do this. And so it's like you're flushing out your liver and your gallbladder. And
show pictures. I want to see some photos.
Maybe
guys,
we should get Eric on here at some point to talk
the keys.
I
want to see the keys. I don't give a
shit.
I tell you, it works like crazy. Okay, I've lost 15 pounds every time I've done it. It's amazing. Anyway, yeah.
Hans, I've actually been there too, but can I explain something really important and very specific about women's cycles, their hormonal
very
cycles
different.
and fasting? This is something I learned. I am 6 foot fucking 1. Okay. So when I tell you this, I explain that my specifics of how my body and the balance of my muscles have worked, how I understand that flow is super important to my hormonal cycle. So most women don't actually understand that the luteal cycle, which is just prior to your menses, is actually, it's very important for you not to work out excessively. It has a lot to do with your cortisol buildup.
That's me all the time.
Yeah. So like, and you're not supposed to fast during this time. So I was somebody, who was over like pushing 240 because I was in and out of abusive situations. You're just like holding on to shit as well. But understanding my fasting cycle, because I was overdoing it through this time period, was that I reached a plateau. And then all of a sudden I was forced to have to assess what I was going through.
So wait, your luteal, this was like a week before your period?
Yes. So the week before your period, you are not supposed to fast excessively. You're also not supposed to do high intensity workout. And
shit, guilty.
Love to hike. Yeah, honey. Whoops. And I'm like, I go straight uphill. Like I'm like, find me my hill to go hike, and I'm going straight up. And I found out that I would get this intense energy like maybe 2 weeks prior. So it wasn't like full on luteal, but it was like start to build up. And sometimes I wouldn't jump on it till right to the week before. But once I actually regulated, my body reciprocated. It was like, oh, I get what you're trying to do, and would give me the energy when I wanted it. It's just about talking and understanding that balance. But most women don't even fucking know that.
No, I just want to know like how many days before the cycle is that time frame? Because I look at things of like, you got to go harder. Like I push myself so hard. And like if I don't do it, I like feel weird. So yeah, maybe I need to look into that.
It's like again, like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking hike you fuckers out.
I've been fasting
again, you guys. Do you see this bighorn sheep? Like do you have a picture to? I push my. I'm just teasing.
More
like
photos.
I push myself to these points. Like
guys,
fuck you, I'm gonna do it.
How this
No. I've been fasting a lot.
Okay,
I've been following the Dr. Gundry. I don't want to say diet. I'll get in trouble. Philosophy, I guess. I've been trying. Okay, I won't eat anything until afternoon, and then I try to follow his rule about keeping it within 2 hours. I never do. But I try to eat in about 3 or 4 hours, and I don't do breakfast. I don't do lunch, and it's I did lose weight, but the thing is that I don't exercise. I haven't changed my exercise. I should say I do like a little hiking, and
you'll feel happy. What I noticed about exercise is the negative thoughts dissipate. So like looking at exercise as an exorcism of like the way you feel afterwards, and we're taught that when we work out, it's exhausting. You're going to be exhausted. When actually, the like what I was mentioning earlier about your bones are piezoelectric, and when that compression happens, it actually charges you. Like you get energy. Like you get energy from working out.
I do agree with that. I believe that. I try to avoid doing it only to save my energy. I feel like
watch how much more energy you'll have of just 45 minutes a day or like half an hour.
My new goal is to walk after dinner.
Outside, I will be honest.
I have a lot of things I need to change about myself, and mainly I have to.
Walking is amazing, and it truly does. It's both like a biochemical as well as just like mental, spiritual, conscious.
What was the first
there's profound things over walking. Like there's all these girls that were going to the gym, doing all this cardio and doing all these workouts, and then there's all these videos you can find of where they were mind blown over walking and their results from it. They're like, oh my God, I've been going about this all wrong. But there's, and a lot of them will say like, it's this many steps a day, or it's just this, but it's not as, intense as I thought it would be to see the results that they experience.
Let me say one thing. There's a guy, he lives right down the street. He's 96 years old, and he used to run the hiking club.
Over 70, my friend.
He was a hiker. He walked.
She hikes with me to this day. We do 5 miles in a state forest area, up and down.
Who is this?
And actually, I will be honest, I love this woman to death, but she totally does like a little Kahlua, like a little Bailey's. Like I can smell it.
She's living her best life.
She's in her 70s. Like, yeah, fuck yeah. And
she figured out her formula.
Wait. Here's the best part. Here's the best part. her little fucking house, like beautiful house. I met her son who's in the Marines. By the way, his fucking future wife, we already know, who's from the Philippines, is Sarah. So he and I like already, because we like guns, we like hunting, like he and I are okay. So already, and then so her name is Sammy, and she's my neighbor. We met like walking her dogs. Her carpet in her house is cheetah print. She owns 0 furniture and has hanging.
Dude, I love this woman. I want to hang out with her.
Like hanging like muscle strengthening type apparatuses. She does not have furniture. So,
I love her.
You all need to come to Oregon.
Sounds like my place. Like right when you walk into my place, there's an 80-pound freaking 80-pound barbell.
Right? Oh, this is beautiful.
I'm gonna have to do a road trip. Well, you're gonna all have to come meet me. We'll start at Montana.
Yeah, we got to get there before September, though. She stops. Right, Julie stops in September, like early September. So if we're going, we got to get there before September.
Sorry,
I'm saving. Let's do it.
Julie Ryder.
Also, though, I have a house.
Julie Ryder.
Okay, for the executive few here on the Oregon coast. That we could have a little private. Yeah,
let's do like a wellness like getaway. I don't know, like make it to where people
to extend to actually the foundation that is being built. So yes,
like a retreat. Let's do a retreat.
Where on the coast? Sorry, just curiosity.
I have so like my side job since I've been doing sleep is, of course, like you meet these people who tell you their life stories, and then they're like, oh, I also have this elitist house with 5 bedrooms on the coast. Would you like to? Like, no, I would not. I'm just kidding.
Please. I've already accepted the invitation, and I've already booked.
You've heard this before. Bernie's heard this. I got your backs. Like, come to Oregon. I got you.
Bernie didn't mention it to me.
Bernie's got multiple places to stay.
I gotta do.
I invited Bernie down to my place.
Yeah, Bernie, set up a tour.
We all have. So
we're trying to do that.
Plan.
Yeah.
So,
but instead, Bernie knows
will
I got grants. I'll pay for your grants to come, right? Bernie, come. You're gonna have to come here at this point. I got your grant, his grant. Let's go.
Let's get it done.
Carlson is already. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's not. Like, let's not go there.
Ultimate road trip. It's happening.
Well, this was amazing, guys. I mean, this was really like beautiful. This is a beautiful discussion. Like, we really flowed well together. It was really refreshing. Like, thank you so much.
Well, and thank you for rejoining. It's
thanks for all of us for being here.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've gotten to speak with any of you. Really,
I missed you.
I miss you too.
Right,
likewise.
And it's great to have y'all back and to be back, and that we're gonna have to do this reoccurring thing all over again and keep doing it, and then do it in person this summer and make a massive road trip. And I'm gonna make it happen one way or another, whether it's working construction every day from now until then.
We got you, Bernie, once you cross the border. We got you, brother. Yeah.
So I guess I got to start working on renewing my passport and making sure that.
Yes, do that first.
Do that now. That could take a long time.
That could take a long time.
4 to 6 weeks in the USA.
I don't know about Canada.
Yeah, Canada's a little.
On my trip, I just did my passport.
No, Bernie, you got your passport ready? You can come over.
No, that's what I'm saying. I got to renew it.
Do that.
Yeah,
and
then
do it sooner than later, dude.
Guys,
you don't want to lag on that.
They're already doing
because
it
when you lag on that, they're gonna extend it out, and you don't want to do that. Do it now.
Yeah. Hans, how do you feel about
doxing himself?
Eastern Oregon?
Oh boy!
Sorry, what are you gonna get? There's nothing in here.
How do you feel about?
He's like, don't go in the morning.
Don't go in the morning.
Ezra, you had a question.
And Earthships, a little bit of Earthship brim style design, like into the mountainside, right? You got that. Get the greenhouse on the outside. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, getting the solarium. Excuse me, I'm like doing a little. in class.
Solar.
You need to do this. And like,
you know what we should do when we make very powerful points? We should start putting our pinky like Dr. Evil like that to like just like so more people will pay attention. So many people like lose focus. We're just like, okay.
That is our new WooWoo wow thing.
Second of all, you guys in class tonight, because I'm doing hands-on. I'm learning all the joints and every single fucking muscle. There's a little digitorium called the digitorium. The digitorium is your pinky. Sorry, real quick. So you have one muscle that fucking does this little shit. You also have two muscles, by the way, that do this shit. Really quick. So this is what I'm going to school back for, because like I'm learning every single little like how every little digit, connects.
I wanted to say something so inappropriate, but I'm not gonna say it.
So weird that we all do the hang loose. So I gotta say something. Yeah. Before we all go. Okay. So
and if anybody can tell me the muscles
from Hawaii. Sorry.
Fuck yeah.
The hang loose comes from Hawaii, and you have the enter and the exit of the wave, right? So this is the enter and the exit of the wave. That's the hang loose.
Dude, I've been using this a lot lately in conversations. People are probably like, dude, I just asked her a question. Like everything, like the last week has been this. Like my response on everything. Like, yeah.
Shaka. Oh, Julia.
Golden.
You know when you abuse, for a long time I abused this emoji, probably because I'm Sicilian, my Sicilian heritage. But now I'm starting to abuse this one. And now I'm definitely going to, now that I know this, Hans. It's a lot.
Like, the Asians love this. It's Taiwan, number one.
It's the path through the wave, hold on. Right?
What's this? A dead one of these.
Noise.
What?
I don't know.
But you're
all right. And on that note, I just wanted to show some of the structured water frozen ice cube there. You can see the
how are your experiments going, my friend? How are your experiments going?
Well, we got a nice layer of fluffy monoatomic.
I gotta get some formats from you. We've talked about this, but yeah.
Yes, I gotta send you this one right here, the purple gold. And I tested the water, and it's slightly alkaline. So I believe that is a very good sign.
I'm always fascinated with
after what Julia was talking about. You need to do more frozen water experience. It's like
so
simple. You can literally put your hand over, literally say an intention, and just watch what happens. Do somebody else. Don't do yourself completely every time. Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys. This is like
I have so since it's a WooWoo Wednesday and we're wild out there and we're astral projection, power of manifestation, there was one time I walked into my old garage first alchemy lab set up with one of my buddies, and I had been using a little AAA battery to power the electrolysis, and it had run for several days, and it had the battery had died, the process had stopped, and my buddy looks at me, he's like, "You're gonna use your mind to start it right now, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And I just stared at it, and all of a sudden it just started bubbling all crazy, and I was like, "Well, there it is, that's Zen. You can,
dude, biophotons literally come out of our eyes, so it's like a fact. So
can you say that one more time? What comes out of our eyes?
Biophotons.
Biophotons.
Right? Yeah, biophotons. And biophotons are these very weak particles of light, and they're not. You can't see it with your naked eye, but the eye itself emits light when exposed to ambient photons, and it's been linked to activity and visual perception, but your DNA emits biophotons as well.
This is also what we see in our
mirrors. It's probably part of that big
entanglement,
that quantum entanglement
that's
out there
in the mirrors. Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of entanglements. I mean, when you talk about sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
We were talking about via photons and mirrors and light frequency. Yeah.
So, like, talk about
remote viewing. You just flashed a remote. That's what I want to say. The remote viewing.
She's saying remote healing. She's speaking of something even more amazing. Remote healing.
Yeah. But also, like, really quick, this is actually a video I did. It was a old school video. It was called Black and White Magic. Magic of the Light of Tomorrow.
Ooh, I like it.
What I'm trying to get at is it actually really exemplified Prism. Hold on really quick. I'm pulling it up for
remote healing. Shout out to my mom. She is a remote healer. And we'll have to do an episode with my mom. So you ladies can talk to her about it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I can tell a couple stories where I thought she was crazy until she worked on my dog when it had cancer. And
that was my story.
It went up to, like, the first time she did it, told me about it, and then the next time the dog saw her, he had acted like he had never done before. It was so grateful. It was wild. Just moving.
And so that's how I learned I was doing Reiki, was on my animals before I even understood what it was.
Light is magic.
Just watch this.
Magic in the way it is created, in the way it travels, the way it behaves.
Honestly.
And beyond the magic of light itself, there is the magic of science, finding new and amazing uses for light, the life giver. Sunlight is a mixture of several different kinds of light. Most familiar is the visible light, the kind of light we see and see by. Then, as modern sun worshippers know, sunshine contains an invisible form of light called ultraviolet. Ultraviolet light produces tan skins and those healthy little things called vitamins. Science has learned how to produce this invisible form of light artificially. And now, without leaving our homes, we can turn winter into summer. The scientific ultraviolet light generator is arranged to remove all of the visible light and project a strong beam of invisible, like magic light. One of the most amazing things about ultraviolet light is its ability to help us see things which by ordinary light are impossible to see. The radiations of pure ultraviolet light produce a strange
Anybody
effect called
can identify the background music?
fluorescence. Is a glow,
I will give you 5 minutes worth of free
many different chemicals respond to the radiations of ultraviolet light.
Shout out Alchemy.
Different chemicals seem to respond with a different glow.
Ooh, why? I hope it's not a copyright song.
Yeah, what's up with that copyright song?
It is, but it's not. You won't get. You're good.
Then it's not.
We're good.
Are you sure? What Bernie's told me that before, and I've totally gotten things straight or messed with.
That's true because things have changed a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he's good on this one. Only because as long as
we're just muted. To all our channels. Sure. Yeah, one of us straight. Y'all go down. Oh.
I was saying too, if you can identify this, because it's actually it's not the actual song, it's the instrumental, background. So honestly, that's why I don't think you're gonna get in trouble for this, and especially because we're breaking it up. But if anybody can identify it, I will give you 5 minutes free of my B-roll nature footage. I go on a hike almost every fucking day. Some of this stuff is on my page. I have more up, way more than I can even. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's something I would do for Bernie. For him, that money would go to him.
Well, it will go to us getting to Ecuador one day. Right?
One day, brother. I still want to go to Ecuador, but in the meantime,
I've never been. Let's go.
YouTube needs to stop freaking capping all our subscribers.
Take me to the healers with the healing hands. I want to rub down.
Dude, you know that Kevin is my roommate right now, right, buddy? Kevin and I are still doing this. It's still OG old school. He's he's not in bed with me right now, but we're trying, and everything is moving, and we're already there. And do you know there's 2 psilocybin
clinics in Bend right now.
Yes, there are.
Really?
Thank God.
Let's go,
Yay.
folks.
No, seriously. Thank God.
Hey, thank you. I love you.
If anyone knows remote healing, you feel free to do a session on me anytime you feel like it.
Julia, like
I want you to do
gonna have my mom.
I don't need
and
Cash
work on
App
it.
or coffee.
Really
Just send me some good remote healing vibes.
Don't need that.
I want you to
I'm
do
gonna
a
hook you up
remote
with my
healing
mom's,
in an
Julia.
isolation chamber.
Yeah. Julia, we got you covered. We got your inner circle. Like, we don't need
Awesome.
You get the
No.
special
Right.
treatment. You get my mom.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
You don't quite remember. Do you remember when you met a certain group of people and I was like, Julia? And I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
Like, hey,
Yes.
ladies,
Yep.
I love you, bud.
Yes,
Girl,
I do.
I got you.
Oh yeah, because it was like, we should maybe do some protection for her before she goes in there. You're like, why do you think you were okay?
Right? Oh, okay. Connection.
All right. So shout
And
out
moving
to
on.
making the GoFundMe Bernie's West Coast Meetup Adventure. So all of us nice people on screen here can, make one giant YouTube road trip from,
Let's do it, man. We can
I'm
make
gonna
this
tell
happen.
you guys,
Let's do
I
it.
do house sit and dog sit for people, and they have offered me a facility with multiple rooms. So just let's get in contact on the back room right now. Anyway, Oregon Coast.
All right.
I'm there
Sounds
with
good to
you.
me. I'm there.
I'm there with you.
We're all gonna be there.
We're gonna have
What's
a good
the
time.
We have to get a big yellow submarine, probably a school bus. It'll be hilarious. And yeah. All right. Last words. Until next time.
Conscious Life Expo.
Arrivederci.
Alien event the first week of April. Let's all be there. Julie's going to be there as well. So April 4th through 6th.
Yeah, alien event.
I'll
And
be
then
in Africa in February and March.
Oh, I'm going to be in Sedona, March 29th, 30th. Sedona, Arizona. There's some tickets left. You could go.
The Disclosure Fest. Yeah, awesome.
No, it's not Disclosure Fest. It's not. It's not Disclosure Fest.
Are you a part of the Aura photos? Because when I went to Sedona very recently, all I saw driving in was Aura photos. And please tell me if any of those motherfuckers actually have Carillion photography.
Right.
And I'm on. Girl.
Talking about Graham Hancock's going to be there in Sedona. I saw him 3 Easters ago.
Sorry, so Julia, continue. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, so if you guys, so you can go to my website. There's a link to it, or follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Holly Julia's. Like instead of Hallelujah, it's Holly Julia's. Nobody gets it. Everybody's like Haley Julia's. Who's Haley? It's HALLE.
That's awesome.
I love it. It makes me smile. Like
Julia.
Hold on.
HALLEJULIAS. There's an S on it, and so there's a link and there's a code. If you want to get a ticket, it gives a percentage off for the ticket. But it's going to be pretty amazing. And Sedona.
What's the
Graham Hancock?
Called?
What is it called? Oh my God, this is so
Graham
embarrassing.
Hancock's going to be there in Easter.
Oh, he's what? When is Easter this year?
April something.
God, I never know.
March.
Yeah, so
that's Canadian Easter.
I'm working on links. We'll get it. Don't worry, honey. Like I get it. It's life.
Load it and share screen.
Someone who is well versed in extensive research and topics, so don't blame her. We've got the team working on this. Give us a second.
But
I'm getting more toast.
Oh,
I'm just saying you work with some major people.
Yeah, that's it. Rise of the Guardians. That's it.
It's all blurry. This is okay.
Rise
all
of the
right.
Guardians.
Are you speaking? Oh, you're speaking. Okay.
Yeah,
that's different, Julia. You should tell us more.
Well, so that'd be a good deal.
I didn't know you were speaking.
Yeah, I'm speaking.
I get the link sooner. Please post that. I'm working on.
Oh, the link is
Rise of the Guardians.
Team Light Store, and it's the code for the discount is JULIA10 for tickets. So that's the 29th and the 30th in Sedona. But God, Sedona's energy and everyone that's going to be there, and there's going to be Leo King. I don't know if you guys know who Leo King is, but he's also going to like DJ at night. He's a DJ. He's an amazing astrologer.
I have not, and I don't mean to diminish that, so I'd like you to keep on that. But as somebody who is not fully versed in the esoteric, I had my first Sedona experience on January 1st, actually. I went up to go hiking, and of course, it's like super crowded, right? So we're like, we're going to pull off in this random spot and just go. We end up like hiking up this river wash. Because I wanted to get, part of it was I wanted to get the view of like some of the famous rock structures, okay? So we're going up it, and no problems. Like we get up X amount of feet. We're gonna like, oh yeah, we got to turn around, come back down into this random sanctuary with like Buddhist words and like Namaste written, burned engraved into wood. And like this sanctuary setup. I will never forget this to my day and to my core. This is my first experience of Sedona. It was extremely like immediately my partner who I was with, my boyfriend, he's like, I think we have to get out of here. But
wait, was it this New Year's? This last New Year?
Like
this
legit,
Year's?
Yeah, New Year's
Wow,
Day.
you finally made it though.
Is that in Sedona?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
We parked in the middle of nowhere. Some people had actually pushed over the signs and we're like, let's just do it. It's so busy today. Like people are everywhere. Let's just like pull over here and so we did. And what I will say is there was quartz crystal, like fucking gorgeous rock structure inside of the wash of this red rock. And
really?
so it had to have been quartz crystal at the end of the day when I look at it. Because I do know my rocks from Oregon to some extent. And so and then we came back down from this because we were I really wanted some photographs of the rock up above that is like some of the most famous. And when we came back down, we took like those slight wrong turn and we walked into some sort of sanctuary. It was totally set up, you guys. It was like full on hut. They had like this sign and they had like this full on like layout. Walked a little too far into it, and then we realized that we had to go back up and then over and around from where we were to get out of it. But synchronicities, guys.
I'll meet you at Umpqua Hot Springs.
Oh, I'm in Desert Hot Springs right now.
Where the picture was taken.
All right. I love you all. I'm sorry I have to cut it off so we still get the AI to make the shorts, so then it makes more videos because this was pretty epic and awesome. Let's do it again, if not sooner, next Wednesday. If y'all are free, hopefully. That's awesome.
I love you guys.
That was awesome.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.